Hey everybody, Wilfie here. I'm in my living room at my new new house. If it's a bit echoey, sorry about that. I figure between this imbecile and I arguing back and forth with this 500 character limit, we're not really going to get anywhere before our balls grow nice long gray hairs. So I figured a video might make some headway here where simple text couldn't, because I think we could be dealing with illiteracy issues here as well as other problems. So there are just a few misconceptions that Philip Marie and I seem to be having, and I wanted to address some of the most obvious first, because I kind of get this vague feeling that we're dancing around an issue that maybe this person doesn't want to come right out and ask because it's just more name calling, which is really the best this idiot can do. And that is the indignant question that he or she, I suppose, asked. And who do I think I am to tell somebody else about the separation of church and state? I'm not a superior, I'm not a relative or a government official, and thank fucking non-Christ I'm not. I'll tell you who I think I am. I think I'm a fucking atheist. I think I'm a militant atheist. You know, the dirty kind where we blow people up with words and dirty scowls and constant reminders that thou shalt not prey on public property with public funds with, permission from the government, which it's not allowed to do because of the Constitution. Us assholes are responsible for killing just about every human being alive. We're worse than Hitler, right? Wrong. Militant atheists don't carry guns or bombs. We're not the cowards that burn abortion clinics, murder abortion doctors, treat women like property, rape children in choirs or chapels, and we don't shuffle around the guilty to protect them from criminal prosecution. So that's part of who I think I am. And to answer the next question, why do I think it's appropriate to teach people about the separation of church and state? The simple answer is people don't quite seem to understand it yet. So, like I said, we're going to repeat this lesson over and over again, many times, until every single room temperature IQ'd Bible-thumping twat finally comprehends that no, you don't get to beat all of us over the face with your precious Bibles or your Qurans or your cookbooks. We don't give a shit, and we're not going to stop until you stop. I certainly understand the appeal to the live and let live philosophy, or the appeal of it. Certainly if, as the late Christopher Hitchens pointed out, if only religion could actually live by that axiom. I'd love to leave you imbeciles alone. It pisses me off to no end that I've probably read more of the Bible than you people have. More of the Quran than most of you people have. I shouldn't have to. I stopped reading. I don't like reading bad fiction. I'd rather sit through an episode of one of the damn Twilight movies without riff tracks than have to go through the plotting fiction of the Bible again. But you people just keep missing the point. And the worst problem is that you can't ever find yourselves content to pray amongst yourselves. Go dick wave at your churches. Impress each other with how much your car's worth, or go be pious in front of each other at a church. Show your pride in your stupid beliefs in the invisible sky wizard or Buddha or whatever imaginary critter you want to believe in. That's fine. But quit making us listen to it. I don't like to hear that shit. I don't like listening to you people any more than I like listening to loud rap music in the car next to me or the twang of a country music song picking brain cells out of my skull. Anytime stuff like this Damon Fowler thing comes up, the first cry we hear from anybody that's religious is, oh, you're persecuting Christians, you're stopping us from practicing our faith. No, we're not. Nobody stopped anything. Last I checked, those miserable bastards in Damon's hometown still had their prayer. They still cheered. They still leered menacingly at the poor kid that pointed out, by the way, shitheels, this is illegal, and they carried on doing it. To hell with the law. several people said this, including the school administrator. The people responsible for leaking the poor kid's name in the first place and bringing this entire shitstorm down on him. Very Judas-like, wasn't that? But I digress. These people had no qualms whatsoever about displaying their righteous indignation at being challenged. What, you mean I can't pray and make everybody listen? Well, that's bullshit. No, it's really not. This, all of this has gone on for hundreds of years in America, and thankfully, it's devolved to the point where we're at now, where I can safely sit here with a video camera and tell religious people that they're fucktards. Probably 100 years ago, I could be run up and killed for that. People like me, we pay close attention in history class. We pay close attention to the humanities courses that we take in college. This is part of the reason why conservatives are so damn afraid of sending their kids to school, because they actually learn how religion has treated people over the centuries and over the millennia. 500 years ago, we punished, not atheists, actually, it was you Christians again, punished Galileo for daring to suggest that the sun didn't revolve around the world, the earth. We actually put the poor son of a bitch in prison, and he died there because he wouldn't recant. Turned out he was right, but oops. I think the Catholic Church issued an apology for that in this century sometime. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, something like that. I'm less interested in modern history as I am in ancient history. See, I'm betting that most of you people out there don't believe in Zeus or any of the gods of the Greek pantheon. You think they're myths. You think they're silly, and people that believed in those stupid nonsense tales were complete morons. They just didn't know better. But you guys have the secret worked out now, don't you? You know, the answer is no, you don't. You've reduced it from multiple gods down to one, so the good news is you're one digit off the correct answer. But I'm getting way off topic here, so I'll try to bring this back in a little bit. The underlying point here is that faith heads can't leave well enough alone. Even though your own faith, especially Christianity, preaches against making a big show of your faith. I think your favorite fictional character, Jesus, even admonished you, don't make a show of praying to me. Pray in a closet to yourself, quietly. That's what makes the guy upstairs happy. Because, you might fucking mean it then. Instead, you tend to congregate in groups, get nice and boisterous and rowdy, make lots of exulting noise, and don't accomplish much. But you do tithe 10% of your income to the people that run the church, so of course they get that tax-free income. I imagine a few percent of that goes to help homeless or hungry people. But again, I digress here, wandering off track. It isn't enough for you people. You can sit in church and pray all fucking day for all I care. You can pray your ass off at home. You can stand out on a public street and shout your stupid biblical nonsense to the top of your lungs. That's what a lot of those idiot, what was his name? The Harold Camping, that guy. The tool who thought that May something and then October of 2011 was going to be the rapture. Well, we're all laughing our asses off at that moron right now, aren't we? Because he turned out to be wrong too. But nobody's stopping you from doing things like that. Nobody. No one. There is no big government agency trying to shut you down for praying. People don't march into your churches and make you listen to atheist screeds, now do they? I don't think anyone's ever walked into a church and quoted from God is Not Great, or The God Delusion, or Letter to a Christian Nation. I think that should happen. I think we'd have a lot more atheists if people felt more comfortable coming out, so to speak. It's really depressing that in the U.S. we have to do such things. But, while we have the courtesy not to do things like that to you, you don't share the same courtesies for us. We would be quite content to leave everything alone. But we have kids like Damon Fowler. He's an atheist. Doesn't believe any of this shit. And here you are, upset that he had the nerve to complain about a prayer that your school was sanctioning. It's illegal. Keep that in mind. We're arguing about something that's already been decisively ruled unconstitutional. Texas has learned this lesson. Many other states have. The Supreme Court has touched this issue over a dozen times since the 1800s. And every single time it's come down and said no. Student-led prayer is unconstitutional. School-led prayer is unconstitutional. Again, the lesson will be repeated until the dullest of you gets the point. But despite that, even though you know it's illegal, you think it's persecution. You're in a majority and you think you're being persecuted because you don't get your way. And that pisses me off. That makes me feel really superior. I know that What's His Nuts asks, why I think it's important to run my mouth about stuff like this, to be so aggressive about it and to be a jerk about it. Well, it's because you fucking people won't quit. And it's as simple as that. The minute you people shut up, wander off and leave this, practice your religions on your own time, on your own turf, in your own churches, and leave us out of it, you'll find us quite willing to live and let live. But until that day, no, you're going to encounter some pushback from people like me. So yeah, I think without babbling for another 5 minutes, that sums up what I wanted to convey. That you can imagine just 500 words or 500 characters doesn't cut it. Now, I do want to do a little bit more taunting before I abandon this. And I know it's a low blow. Anybody that's actually bored enough to read that entire pile of comments back there on the About Damon Fowler video is going to see me take a pretty cheap shot around, I'd say, the 30 or 40 comment mark. I've gotten 8 fucking inbox messages since I posted my last response. So this guy's pissed, whoever it is. Guy or girl, I shouldn't make assumptions. And the cheap shot I took was, use a fucking dictionary for fuck's sake. I don't know how to explain this, but somebody who can't communicate and consistently screws up the spacing of words, puts the beginning of a word, matches it into the preceding word, and screws up just basic shit like that, you just get this picture that they're not firing on all 4 cylinders. And I don't know, when I type something into my web browser, if I manage to misspell a word, it's usually polysyllabic, and it's usually 11 or 12, 15 characters long by the time I can actually confuse the dictionary. It draws little red squiggles for me. And I don't like seeing little red squiggles on any form with a post button underneath it, because it makes me look like a knob. And it really does make other people look stupid too. When they can't spell, they lose their punctuation and grammar, and they get the word spacing wrong. So, I mean, seriously, it may seem like a cheap shot, but effective communication really is important. If you're trying to get an idea across, you might want to sound or seem like you're not a goddamn grade schooler. Now, I know you said you're not American, but your written communication skills are really suggesting to me that you're a proud holder of an American GED. Now, there are ways to fix this. You could go back to school. I think they call it, secondary education in other countries, where they use the big books, the kind with actually hard cardboard covers, and don't have so many colorful drawings anymore. But if you do that and combine it with a lot of work and careful study, you may even be able to absorb some of the history they teach there too. Before you get too high and mighty about accusing somebody like me of not getting my history straight, you may want to go back and do some research of your own and cite your sources. I don't just bullshit for no reason. I named in one of my last responses 5 Supreme Court cases that support my assertion that school-led or student-led prayer in school is unconstitutional. So, you know, I can back up my assertions with citations and well thought out reasoning. And I can lace it with expletives and still make it sound good. And I don't have to curse. I can call you all sorts of foul names, or I could just call you an idiot, and I think either one would work just fine. But it's just a pet peeve of mine. Don't bitch about the historical accuracy of things that I bring up. If I get something wrong, fine, but I typically don't. And you might want to try actually cracking open a history book before you fucking lecture me about it again. So, anyway, that's it for now.
Take the Bible off the shelf and dust it off and read it.
What she said. That's a good point. Read your goddamn Bible. This is something Penn and Teller said once on their bullshit show. And I don't mean their show is bullshit, I mean the show's name is bullshit. Lots of fun. Read the fucking thing. The best way to make yourself an atheist is to read your holy scripture. And that's a lot of truth in that statement. So go play. Go read some real books. Go read your stupid Bible if you need to, just to feel closer to your imaginary God friend. And then come back when you've actually learned something. So, sorry from the fans out there, sorry for that 16 minutes of mindless rantings. In the next couple of days I should have an X3 video finally put together. We'll be doing some Mars script demonstrations along with the complex cleaner. I'm going to show that monster off with what should be a 300 station complex. It's a big monster, slows the frame rate down to about 6 FPS. And as soon as you run cleaner, it goes back up to 60. It's very nice. I'll probably stumble my way through a boarding operation and completely fuck that up, but that should be entertaining too. So until then, thanks for watching through this, and Philip Marie, go fuck yourself.